Well, she was a lovely 40 minutes in Denver. Before the Avalanche came down and buried the Flames, beneath the rubble, a potential 2 points. And now, just scars to show for it. Welcome to Afterburner. Cami Kapke is here. Kepke? I'm saying it wrong.
You got it.
No, don't say Cami.
That's absolutely it.
Ryan Pinder, I think that's how we say it. That for sure was a collapse. That's not a good performance or a good result for the Calgary Flames, despite a lot of things went really well tonight. 6-5, your final in Denver. That's how you don't open a 3-game and 4-night stretch in 3 different cities. Oh, and you have to play the defending Stanley Cup champs tomorrow and a team that's looked really good under a new head coach in 3 days. I don't want to be like, boo, Flames. Flames are bad. Look at all the horrible things. They did a lot of things right. You scored 5 goals on the Avalanche. You had a 2-goal lead after 40 minutes. Unfortunately, the Avalanche went full Avalanche tonight, Cami. It just took them until the third to really get going full Avalanche.
It was more about trying to outlast the Avalanche, but I'm going to sum it up through song. Not going to sing it. This is the classic Pepper by the Butthole Surfers, if you're familiar.
No.
They were all in love with dying. They were drinking from a fountain that was pouring like an avalanche coming down the mountain.
It was a lot in the third period. I don't have... Jack, was that our Betway highlight of the game? Cami doing like freestyle rap poetry? What would it be called if you
give them a Google? They're your favorite band's favorite band.
I've heard of them. I just wasn't a huge
big
fan
Houston
of them.
Guys.
All right.
I'm sure Blake Coleman knows.
Coleman would know. He was good tonight. Nazem Kadri had a great night. Dan Vladar made numerous great saves.
This was not all on Dan Vladar, and we will get to that later, but we're going to say it now. Not all on him.
This was, they played with 5 defensemen against a legit cup contender, and were very close to winning, and they got a really bad bounce on the Ross Colton goal, but it just felt like this was going to be the Avalanche's night. Once they got to within 1, Jack said, when are we starting this? I said, well, we're going to see if we need overtime. And sure enough, moments later, they scored. And then I turned to Cami and said, Cami, I don't know if this thing isn't dead in regulation.
You said that before that goal.
So either way, sometimes if you've watched this Avs club enough, you just know when they're wheeling. And McKinnon's got that power move and starts circling the ozone. And it's explosive plays from Makar. Nichushkin's huge body in front of the net. Rantanen, just another guy there that, oh yeah, you could score 50. He's a monster. This is a team of future Hall of Famers against a Calgary club that played well tonight, but didn't have a Hall of Famer to get them one more goal than the Avs.
I mean, 3 huge guys, all who were picked in the top 10, and McKinnon, Makar, and Rantanen, obviously. But you also saw... So
you're saying that the better players are available in the top 10 selections.
Funny how that works, but it doesn't happen if they don't get some contributions from their depth. Thomas Tatar snapped a how many game goalless skid? Mm-hmm. I had to look up who Myers was. Elite Prospects didn't even have him in the NHL yet. Yeah, first game in the NHL, first goal. And it doesn't happen without them. So it's not all the stars. They proved that this is what happens when you have finishers, but it took the whole team to get them there.
I think there's a lot of positive to take out of this game, but there's certainly one clear negative to take out of this game. There's some things you're worried about. There's a lot of things you'd be happy for. But Chris Tanev's hurt. And Chris Tanev gets hurt a lot, and you never know which Chris Tanev hurt is going to be the hurt that keeps him up.
And having to step away for a little bit, but that also looked like a shoulder injury. And we can't forget that is the main thing that kept him down after the Dallas series in playoffs. He had to have shoulder surgery in the offseason, and I couldn't find like a clear source on which shoulder it was.
Yeah,
but that's not a good sign. We know that like just tanks his trade stock right now.
Well, there's no trading a guy that's hurt. So he either has his trade stock or he doesn't. I don't think it's like, ooh, he's worth less now. It's like, no, you know how he plays. He's going to get hurt. He's either available to be traded or he's not. And so the question will now become, how is he? Is he missing time? How much time is he missing? And most importantly for Craig Conroy, who knew he had a rather, fragile is the wrong word, a player who has no regard for keeping his body out of the line of harm.
A whirling dervish, if you will.
Sure. Like a guy that just plays in a style that leads him to get hurt a lot. Every single year he misses time, and it's not a knock on him. It's something you love about him because he plays it in a very reckless way where he just says, yeah, I did take a puck off the chin, but I had to block the shot. And so when you have that asset, people are going to say, and have been saying on some shows that rhyme with Farnferner, that this is a guy, if you moved earlier in the year, you could mitigate that risk of injury. If he is, and again, we're speculating, maybe it's a shoulder, maybe it's not. Maybe he misses a game. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's done for the year. Maybe he has to fix some teeth and he's fine. Like we don't know. We're speculating. But a real huge moment for this franchise could have happened tonight. And if Chris Tanev's done for the year and you can't trade him, that is one of your best 3 trade chips that you hold. And this is a team that I think was on display tonight. They can work and play with the best teams in the league, but you can't expect them to regularly beat the best teams in the league. And so if you are going to become a contender down the road for the championship, not just to get into the dance, that's the type of guy you would like to turn into picks that theoretically could be the players that help you down the road when you could look like Colorado. Wouldn't that be fun? Just down by 2 in the third. And I know the Flames have done that a couple times this year, but there's just Makar, one of the best, if not the best defenseman on planet Earth. Nathan McKinnon.
He would have surpassed Quinn Hughes for the defenseman scoring lead tonight. He was down 1 point. I think he had 35 points coming into the game. But honestly, probably a night where it would be very nice to have a Nikita Zadorov there.
Nikita Zadorov might have done something really dumb to make it 7-5.
Well, the Flames defenders already did a couple dumb things on at least 2 of those goals where there's kind of caught standing.
But I don't look at tonight's game and be like, man, if the Flames' third pair was better, they'd win this. I just tip my cap to the Avs. And I know that's not as easy as being frustrated and wanting to blame someone, but they're just, look at the talent for talent. Mm-hmm. The Flames don't have a single player on pace for 25 goals. The Avs have 3 guys that could score 50. They have a defenseman that could score 30.
But boy, howdy, I do want to give this to the Flames defenders. 31 blocked shots to Colorado's 12.
Well, it's easy to block lots of shots when there's lots of rubber going towards your net. Tough to do when there isn't. Let's get to our Betway highlight of the game. Your Betway highlight of the game is brought to you by Betway. 19 plus, Ontario only. Bet the responsible way with Betway. This is a beautiful play the more you watch it. And the first time I saw that, oh, there's a couple of whacks in there. And then you watch it again and you're like, oh, he actually really did mean to do a lot of these things. This was not a crazy bouncing piece of galvanized rubber. This was Connor Zary getting in front of the net, chopping at a rebound to get it up, and then batting it out of midair past Georgiev. Oof. Beautiful goal. And we continue to talk about the lack of high-end elite talent. Connor Zary is one player that gives you hope.
Mm-hmm.
He's missed, almost 10 games of the season, and he's right there. Goals, points per game in his first ever NHL season. That is an incredible story that this may be, if this season doesn't go the way of playoffs and they do end up selling and there is a retooling and lost season, this is a huge find for the Calgary Flames. Connor Zary has been an electric player for them on a night-to-night basis, one of your most dangerous offensive players. Now he gets his ankles broken by Makar on what would end up being the 5-on-5 goal that Rantanen scores, but that's okay. We don't expect him to be a fully formed and polished jewel at this point. He's a guy that can wow you with his offensive creativity, something this team lacks incredibly. And those are the things you could work on as he gets out of his, first 20 games ever in the NHL. It's been impressive.
Yeah. And I was a little bit nervous earlier when we looked at those lines and we saw that, okay, they're going to take Zary and Kadri away from each other. I'm like, okay, I guess maybe we'll see whether one person was providing the other that pop, that little bit of juice. But it looks like, honestly, both of them brought that to their respective lines.
That's a really good point because we like to give credit for things. And there's things that can happen at the same time. It doesn't necessarily mean they're related. When Connor Zary got into this lineup from the Wranglers, he got put with Nazem Kadri. Both of them have been really, really good since. Kadri was excellent again, like very, very good. This is a far cry from the guy we watched at the end of last season, post All-Star game, and the first 10 games of this year. Kadri, we noted it early on. This is like this is one of your better players this year. And you were hoping you'd get that from Huberdeau and maybe a little better from Kadri and Lindholm. It's a contract year, but Nazem's held his end of the bargain for the last month here. He's been excellent, month plus.
Absolutely. And I think they said on the broadcast, this is his first time since coming to the Flames where he's scored a goal at Ball Arena. Mm-hmm. But he looked like vintage Kadri. He was everything.
Ick.
I
don't know, like the icky shuffle.
It's like when someone like of the opposite sex does something that just makes your skin crawl, and it's like, ooh, that is like so unattractive. Okay. It's a grown man with a jersey about this far up his arm, giving another grown man who makes millions and millions of dollars the finger, thinking he really did something. I hate it when I see fans in the front row flipping off the players.
Yeah,
like you're such a tool. Drink your beer.
Being a fan's fun. It allows you to be irrational and hate things.
CC Long Island.
So yeah, Nazem was great. And to your point, they did switch up the lines. So what we saw was Sharangovich and Lindholm staying together. Zary goes up with them, and they reunited a line that I really liked early last year under Daryl Sutter, which was Kadri and Mangiapane and Dubé, who has been chained to a wall on the fourth line for serving punishment for things he belonged there for, probably. He's not been great, but I like those three together. Mm-hmm. Pospisil went down to the fourth line, and you kept the back line the same. I didn't mind the look there of those three, and I was wondering, I don't know if we said it on the show today or if it was somewhere else, but it was like, I wonder if they don't put Zary up with Lindholm to see if they can get him going.
Why not?
Not that Lindholm hasn't been going, but it's just Zary is bringing that creative spark wherever he's playing. Again, you saw it tonight, and it leaked into the Lindholm line when he got there.
Yeah, I don't think you have a ton of complaints about the way your offense looked tonight. Mangiapane got off the schneid. That was 9 games without a goal for him. And Dubé, for how not great things have been lately for him, there were some looks.
Better. I mean, it helps playing with better players, but I also think that
but you take progress with some of these guys right now.
Of course. And he's played with Kadri and Mangiapane before, and they've had good results. That was the nice 7 to 8 games to start last year. And then they lost a game against Edmonton where Markstrom played a puck off the dasher, and McDavid scored from right field. And all of a sudden Daryl Sutter was like, we have to change all the lines forever. And that group never really got much more traction after that, if I recall correctly. And I thought that was too bad, because all three of them play with some moxie. He was that tonight. Goal, assist, draws a penalty early in the third, if I'm correct. Or I've got that written down. Yeah, 91. It's the Miles Wood penalty. So net. And Dylan Dubé, he's not a saint. He likes to, he'll run shoulders into guys, use that speed up another way. Like, I like that trio. And I don't think that Martin Pospisil's, well, obviously he's got to stay on the second line. It's like, well, if he's playing great, sure. But, nice little play walking out front in the first. But I'm okay with giving Dubé a look there.
I mean, you might as well. It looked like there was some more confidence tonight. It reminds me of, if we go back to the Winnipeg series, the play-in in the bubble, prior to that, we did not see a lot of Dylan Dubé confidence. And we saw it manifesting, especially when there would be like 2-on-1 opportunities where he would completely run out of real estate and just panic, and you'd see him try to make a pass into a sprawled out defender. Yeah. And we were seeing it all looked like that all over again. And I think we just started to see the first baby steps to trying some more things tonight. There were some good moments on the penalty kill. He did have a 2-on-1 with Mangiapane. It was Mangiapane who didn't get the pass away, but the guys managed to kill some time. I don't know. I just think it looked like a step in the right direction.
The collapse is a collapse, and people are mad and they want to blame things. Could the defense be better? Yes. Could the goalie be better? Well, the goalie was quite good, even though he allowed 6, as weird as that is to say. I don't know there's many nights you can say that in the NHL, but like Dan Vladar had multiple highlight reel saves. I guess we could talk about that now. Do you have the 2-save combo, Jack, that we saw in the first period? Like right after, I think it might even been on the power play that Hanifin was in the box for in the first 2 minutes. Yeah, just after that expires. Bang, there's one. There's another. And then there was another save in that sequence, and it was like, this guy's on. Breakaway stop, 2-on-1 chances, slide into his left. He makes a big save. It is a real tough spot, because someone not watching the game will say, this goalie sucks. What's Conroy going to do? Trade? It's 5-3, and he's been great. And then a puck goes off a knee to Ross Colton, empty net. And then it's Rantanen tipping something in after Makar breaks Zari's ankles. He's, pile of bodies in front trying to make a save. And then it's McKinnon on a breakaway. Like, which of those three does anyone have any problem with?
I mean, until the collapse, I had in my notes to ask you, do we think Dan Vladar is a guy who thrives on having another goaltender there who's actively providing competition?
They tried to play that narrative, but I just don't really get it. He was great against Vegas and Wolf wasn't here. That's his best game of the year.
Do you go back to him tomorrow?
God, no. The guy saw more rubber than an interstate highway. Like, no, you go to Wolf unless Markstrom's healthy. But yeah, like everyone loves the storytelling. And it's like, oh, what if it was this? And what if it was that? And there's the dad in the stands. But like, Dan Vladar is Dan Vladar. I don't think Dan Vladar was like, oh shit, Dustin Wolf's here. I got to play better. I think Dan Vladar is like got a lot of reason to really play hard to begin with. And his best game of the year, again, it was when Markstrom was sick and they had the backup E-bug behind him. Is that competition pushing him, or was he just a good goalie that night? He was just a good goalie that night, which he can be when he's great. And I don't know. I have a tough time with people crushing Vladar tonight. 6 is a huge number. He was good, as weird as that sounds. Okay, we'll take a break. So your highlight of the night for Betway, 19+ Ontario only. Bet the responsible way with Betway was the Zary goal, a pretty one. He's up to 6 goals already this year.
Chasing that team lead.
Cherngovich is up to 7. We had, where did Coleman is got to be up there too? He's at 8, I believe.
He's got 8. That'd be the team lead. Yep.
There it is. Before we get to break, let's do this. DoorDash provides us with Hungry for More. Now, it doesn't have to be food with DoorDash. It can be anything. It could be, like toilet paper or flowers or a candle, or maybe it's something from a pharmacy that you need. Maybe you need some cough lozenges for your 8-year-old kid that was coughing all over the hockey dressing room tonight. It could be anything. DoorDash can do that for you. Also, you can have DoorDash scoop up multiple items from multiple different retail establishments for one delivery price. And get this, install the DoorDash app now and enter the promo code NATION25 and you will be entered. You'll be absolutely like getting 25% off on any purchases of over $15 and free delivery just for our good pals here on Barnburner and Afterburner. It is Hungry for More with DoorDash. Cami, what are we hungry for?
I'm going to say Dennis Gilbert.
So you want to see more Dennis Gilbert, or you want to see a better Dennis Gilbert?
I want to see maybe about this amount of Dennis Gilbert. That was a healthy helping.
2 assists tonight, if I'm correct. 2 assists,
but like, you know what? I like looking at the bigger picture though, like increased responsibilities with Tanev. That's the most ice time he's ever had in the NHL at over 20 minutes. He had the 2
What did
assists.
he have today for time?
It was just over 20 last time I checked.
That is a lot of Dennis Gilbert. I don't know if I'm hungry for more than that.
2026. 2026 to go along with the 2 assists, 2 hits, couple blocked shots, a poke check on Thomas Tatar. Granted, like he wasn't always out against the big guns, which is probably why he finished at +3, even though it's a flawed stat. No. But I think that was a really good outing for him. I was nervous to see what some of those younger, or maybe not younger, but less experienced defensemen would do. But you know what? Like all things considered, they held up pretty well. And that was the kind of hockey that I think he would like to keep playing.
The thing with Gilbert I really like is he is an edge about him, a nastiness about him. And
we saw him throwing Duran to the ice.
He dumps Duran after the whistle, gets away maybe with a little bit of that. You can do that in the crease now and then. Here's the stat, the tweet. This is, what do you call it? It's a post now, not a tweet. It's not Twitter. It can't be called a tweet. That was likely the best game of hockey Dennis Gilbert has played as a pro. 20 minutes, 26 seconds, 2 assists, 4 hits, and got the lion's share of the shots and all of the high danger chances when he was on the ice, not to mention an expected goals for of, over 2/3. 3 goals
fire on Solo
while on the ice, none against him. That was a great night for Gilbert. I like him. He's a left shot. The reason I think they tried to work Osterley in a bit is because they want to give Solovyov some reps, and Solovyov's plays the left side, but Gilbert playing his offside, I think, is better than Osterley at this point. And I don't know that, Solovyov's going to make those rookie mistakes that a young man playing that position will make. He also has some physicality and size. You saw him take a penalty for cross-checking. He's a physical player. I think it's Dennis Gilbert and the rotating cast around him on that third pair. And with Tanev gone now, there's going to be, I guess, someone has to go up to the top 4. And I think it's Gilbert for me, then a bit of a gap before anyone else. That if it has to be Solovyov, Osterley, DeSimone may get summoned from the American League if this Tanev thing is serious. And I like what Gilbert has done. There is no like magic or sleight of hand about it. He just says, I'm going to be a prick. I'm going to play hard. I'm going to challenge anyone to scrap. I fight every 3 or 4 games. And you've seen it right from his debut at the beginning of last season. I've been quite impressed with the Buffalo product.
Ryan Huska will never say the goaltender is the most physical player on his team again. As long
that was only one period. And I don't know if Dennis was dressed in that one or not, to be fair. So, but yeah, he's what they need. Especially, you noted, did they miss Zadorov tonight? And who knows? Zadorov's when he's great is great. Zadorov when he's awful is unwatchable. Like, it's putrid decision-making. But he's physical.
You don't think he wouldn't get that little extra bite against his old team?
I think his old team loves playing him. They certainly didn't miss him. Nathan McKinnon's not said a lot of nice things about him. I think they like lighting him up. We don't know how he would have played is my point. But with Zadorov gone, I do think the physicality of Gilbert becomes, okay, we need that ingredient. If we don't have a Zadorov, Gilbert can help fill some of that void. Hits, fights, etc.
Fair play.
Okay. Again, DoorDash, 25% off and free delivery on your first order on the app. Nation25 is the promo code. We are hungry for more Dennis Gilbert. I'm actually hoping you don't get more Dennis Gilbert, because that would mean Chris Tanev's not missing a lot of time. More than like 8-9 minutes or like healthy scratched Dennis Gilbert, I'm in for. But if it's over 20 a night, this team's got a lot of pain ahead on the blue line. Not because he's not fine, but
a healthy helping.
He would have been their number 8 to start the year, if I'm correct. That's way down the depth chart. And he's been good.
Well, where was Connor Zary to start the year?
He was in the American League.
Exactly.
We'll take a break. We come back. 2 things that are awfully concerning. Never mind the collapse. Never mind the Tanev injury. Some things that aren't right and aren't getting better. Coming up next on Afterburner. BK Beaufort Liquor is a proud sponsor of Afterburner. In fact, our very first sponsor ever, right back to our first Afterburner ever. Big thank you to Mandeep, Manjeet, and Jazz. Huge Flames fans, a heck of a family. Good-looking cashier, Mandeep, as well. Find them right across from Winsport on the Trans-Canada Highway. Whether you're grabbing some beer for your place in town or you're heading to the mountains, make sure you stop in, say hello. Whether it's a specialty wine, liquor, 6-pack of beer, whatever it is, check it out and grab it at BK Beaufort Liquor.
Coming up in January, we'd love you to be there with us. We are going to Phoenix the 11th to 13th of January. It is the Barn Burner vacation to see the Flames take on the Coyotes. We got your hotels, we got your flights, we got your game tickets. Go to nationgear.ca to book yourself a spot. $14.99 based on double occupancy. You can book your spot now at nationgear.ca. That's the website. You'll find the link on the top. Avoid all the Oilers stuff. It's there, but just pretend it doesn't. nationgear.ca, and then book your spot in. They are moving. There's a limited quantity, obviously, but it's going to be a great time. Whether they're winning or losing, who cares? It's Phoenix in January. Go and watch some hockey, hang out, have a heck of a time. nationgear.ca, once again, to book yourself in for that. And it's brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. Memorable moments with Alberta Blue Cross. It's about cherishing past moments and making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance helps you protect your memories and more. Wherever travel takes you, visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. Alberta Blue Cross, celebrating life's memorable moments inspired by hockey.
It's hockey season. Get ready to cheer on your favorite teams with us at the Stage Bar at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Enjoy the game on one of their huge, large screens with friends, drinks, and delicious food. Let's go. Visit greyeagleresortandcasino.ca for more information. How about this information? Happy hour. Doesn't get much happier than this. 3 hours of happy hour. Let's make the most of the day and your afternoons with great drinks and food. Join us at the Stage Bar and Blaze Bar and Grill for the new happy hour. Every day, 2 till 5. Great food, specialty drinks, all starting at $5. Visit greyeagleresortandcasino.ca for more information. We are back on Afterburner. Things that you need to worry about, and you already are worried about, because there's new worries with the injury of Chris Tanev. There's a tonight worry, which is a 2-goal lead through 40 minutes blown. But bigger picture, there are trends that have been going for a long time that are not good. Jonathan Huberdeau, I thought, struggled again, and there is a long, long list of games he's struggled in, and a very, very short list of games that Jonathan Huberdeau has been good in. That is one of two items I'd like to bring up. I saw some of the stats people tweeting about it earlier, and it's like, okay, he was in Florida, elite season. Great playmaker, great passer, huge point totals. Last year, it's like, oh, he can still pass a bit, and the defense got a little better. There's just nothing right now. It's turnovers. It's losing 50-50 pucks. It's trying to be too cute with the puck, and there's just not a lot of real carbs there. There's not a lot of scoring chances created from number 10. And
well, it creates problems for the other players as well. There was one instance tonight where he coughed up the puck. The Avs got a good chance, and Hanifin took the slash as the Avs got away on that one. So,
sure.
Hanifin sits for the penalty, but what started the play?
Yeah, it doesn't happen if you make a better play. I don't know. I'm kind of at the point where I expect this to be the worst contract in NHL history until it's done. And I don't really see a high probability of there being one worse in the next 7.5 years. And that doesn't have to mean that this franchise can't compete. There's a lot of teams with dead money that are good, be that buyouts, be that, people that they have eating money on and traded away. There's teams like $15 million the Minnesota Wild will spend to not have Suter and Parise around this year. It was like 15 last year.
Like when I think of disaster contracts, I go to Roberto Luongo right away, which is a very different
and that's fine.
kind of bad contract.
That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is a waste of cap money.
Mm-hmm.
It's a waste of $10.5 million to have Jonathan Huberdeau sign that contract. He's also already over 30. This doesn't get better, and it's gotten really like dunk his last 3 years.
But what do you do about it now?
Well, they've tried almost everything. There's not much left to do except acknowledge what it is and stop at some point, I guess, believing in what your eyes aren't telling you, that he is still an elite player. He's not.
But would that not make the situation there worse for everybody in that room if they come out and say, yep, worst contract in history?
Well, no one's asking what the worst contract is. But
like that's what you just said. You said that you want them to like come out.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is don't put him on the first power play unit if he's not good. Take away more ice time. Like, I'd rather see Matthew Coronado at this point on a wing with skilled players. I'd rather have Mangiapane back with Coleman and Backlund. It feels like everything has to get shuffled around one spot in the lineup where maybe he can be just okay. Guess what? You make $10.5 million. Like, he looks like a $2 million winger. He looks like Austin Zarnik. Like, I mean, Austin Zarnik's wonderful, but it's like, you can find guys off waivers that can do the types of things he's doing, that can turn over the puck, make soft plays, lose puck battles, not put up a lot of primary points and create scoring chances. He's providing nothing elite right now. And that's what this team's missing. And I'm not here to say you should be this. I'm just trying to acknowledge, I just don't think he's a good player. I don't know that this gets saved to any degree. And so maybe it is time to put him on a lower line and off power play one. And where's the spark and energy come for this team this year?
Not there.
Nope. It's been Kadri after Zeri got there. Pospisil got a good blue line. It's some of the young kids that have brought it, but it's just, where is the Jonathan Huberdeau signature game? A game. He's been here for over 100 games. Tell me one game where you're like, whoa, Huberdeau just dominated. It doesn't exist.
Preseason.
Sure.
First year.
Preseason.
Had 2 points.
That's what we're talking about. Preseason. We're talking about fucking preseason. Like, it's not even close to the second worst contract in the NHL. It's the Huberdeau deal, the Grand Canyon, and something else that isn't as long with a better player at less money. It's not even close. Like, even the whole, like, Nurse's contract, Seth Jones, there's guys that make big money that aren't stars. And they got some money based on reputation or on a season where every sixth puck went in, and they don't do that for defensemen. But It's not even close. They're still functional players. This guy, it feels like you have a better chance of getting scored on than you do scoring when he's on the ice. And it's just, I don't know. I'm not here spinning solutions. I have almost no faith that this can be recovered to any sort of level where he's a functional top 6 winger.
I mean, it's fair. Like, if you're going to say this is something that you could easily pick up off of waivers, say the player they did pick up off of waivers has,
like, I would rather
recently
have Eli Tolvanen at $900,000 who scored like 20 goals last year for Seattle. Now, obviously, that's not an option they have. They can't just say, Jonathan, let's agree to light your contract on fire and we'll go pick someone off waivers. That's not an option. It's just the level of impact he has on a game has been less than Pospisil, like a mid-20s AHL guy that has got to look. He's been less impactful than that guy. How? Like, it's gone. He's never going to be that elite playmaking point per game guy again.
Would you consider one of those last ditch trades where you see people pitch like going to players that he saw success with in Florida, like a Duclair or a Dodonov?
I talked about Duclair last time we worked together. Like, if you want to find more ways to try to make it work, that's probably the last one. I don't know that there's anything else you can do. Then, like, that's one guy he's had a lot of success with, but I just don't feel like adding. Like, I just don't think it's going to work. That's where I'm at right now. I guess that's what it is. It's not new that he's struggling. I really don't believe they come back from this, that he's ever.
That there's no way to solve this hockey player?
I don't think he's an effective offensive player anymore. And I don't think you can fix it. I think it's done. Maybe there's a change of scenery thing, but I don't. What do you watch in his game where you're like, there it is. Yes, that's the guy. That's the guy that had 115 points. You don't. And it was like backhand, cross the zone, saw stuff that turns the other way. You're like, oh my God. It was like watching Todd Bertuzzi as a Flame at the end. You're like, it's not there anymore. And you know what? That's what it was. Todd Bertuzzi with the Vancouver Canucks was what? Like one of the most intimidating power forwards that could take over games. As a Calgary
West Coast
Flame.
Express, baby.
And as a Calgary Flame, what was he? A guy with the same name bar. They couldn't do most of the things he did before. So I don't know. That's my Huberdeau rant.
I think there's a lot of people actually agree with you on that one.
It's tough, right? No one wants it to go this way. I don't think Jonathan's a bad guy. I don't think he wants to.
It's depressing because I think back to like the start of his tenure.
Quitting. It's just I'm watching and I'm like, there's nothing there that looks elite.
It's just depressing when you think back to those first days when he arrived here and you remember the hope.
Yep. Well, I mean, geez, there was a lot of people had the Flames as Final Four, Western Conference, Stanley Cup Final, win the division. There was a lot of hype, but it's not there. I don't think it will ever be there again. I really hope I'm wrong. Can cut that, save it, revisit it for the next 7.5 years.
See, you're like, save that, put that on Instagram. And I text Jack after and I'm like, don't put up anything I said. Don't clip that.
It's, you know what? We churn out more content every day. If someone's outraged or upset, I'll have something new to piss them off by the time that first one could go viral. I'm not too worried about it. The other thing that needs attention is Mark Savard's power play. What would you say you do here? To quote the Bobs from Office Space. Your job is to do what? Run the power play. Revisiting quotes that you made earlier this season, you thought there was personnel for a top 5 power play in the league. That's very positive. That's very glass half full. And you probably expected to have a better Huberdeau. I'll give you all those things. Where it is right now and what it looks like is a disaster. And not using Rasmus Andersson, one of the top 2 units, to me, doesn't make sense. I understand showcasing players. I understand there's certain fits for certain things. Rasmus Andersson has a better toolkit to work on the power play than any other Flames defenseman.
I think he should be considered for their pick for the All-Star game this year.
Oh, they have to pick someone, don't they?
Right. And I kind of thought it should have been him last year. But like, consider this. They still don't have the worst power play in the league. Imagine what people in Washington are saying.
Well, and it's Washington with Ovi. That's what's crazy. And John Carlson. And for 10 games, they had a not right.
They're going to weekend at Bernie's Ovechkin to that goal record.
Yeah, I mean, you're already seeing it. They had a nice little run there, but it's not going to be a fruitful 2-3 years as they chase this in terms of wins. And if you fall short, it's going to feel just like the biggest gut punch because it feels like they're mortgaging quite a few years to stay veteran and get him this record. Where's this lovely power play? Let's get
28th, just ahead of Chicago, Pittsburgh, where nothing is going right in Pittsburgh right now, St. Louis, and then Washington.
Yeah, so it is the 5th worst in the NHL. That feels high. 10.2%.
I feel like it's gonna drop after tonight.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be updated. They were over 2 tonight. And again, third period, you're up 2. You get the Nichushkin penalty right after the Kadri broken stick there. And it's like, okay, here's the chance. It's one power play out of how many chances? 86 this year prior to tonight. But it was one power play that I thought was crucial because a 2-goal lead against the Avs is not a 2-goal lead. It's a 1-goal lead. They can score 2 like that, as we saw in the third. I thought they iced the game if they get a power play goal there. And instead it was like. Yeah.
But even before that, their first power play tonight, again, it started like Huberdeau coughed up the puck on the wall. The Avs almost had a 2-on-1, and then they almost lost another player because Anderson got hit in the wrist. It looked like on the bench.
Olofsson rifled a clearing attempt right into the Flames bench.
And they didn't get any shots on that power play either.
It's not been good. And I'm not here to say like fire Mark Savard. I'm not here to say like, boo, he sucks. I'm just saying. Maybe
Mark Savard should suit up.
No, I don't think that's going to work at this point. Would have liked Mark Savard from 1999. That would have been good. 28 games, 29 now. That's a huge sample. We're talking like what? The 1/3 mark basically of the season. Through a third of the season, this very, very notable, high profile, like big ad for the club hasn't worked. I hope it works in the final 2/3, but it's not been success for Mark Savard.
It just doesn't. I don't know how you even motivate the team right now because it feels like to varying degrees of success, there have been coaches and people in the organization trying to create that us against the world mentality that can give teams a boost sometimes or galvanize them. And that just, I haven't seen any. Yeah. Nothing seems to have come together in that way.
Yeah. It's no bueno. So those are the negatives. Let's get to the road ahead. We do it for Village Honda with nearly 100 pre-owned vehicles on site. Many makes, many models for all budgets. Head to the Northwest Auto Mall and check out the stock and inventory at Village Honda, or you can go to villagehonda.com for more information. Cami, what lies on the road ahead?
Man, I thought you said like, that's the bad news. You're going to go into some good news because this does not get easier. This is the first of 3 and 4 nights.
That is true.
Hooray. Back-to-back tomorrow against Vegas. Calgary hasn't won the second half of a back-to-back yet this season.
They also are traditionally horrendous in Vegas.
Yes. And the Golden Knights just happen to be on a little 8-game point streak. They have not lost in regulation since Arizona went on that heater and dished them that 2-0 loss on like November 25th.
That was this, one of the, we beat all the Cup champs wins that the
victory tour.
Yes.
Thursday in Minnesota, the Wild have a 3-day rest after shutting out Seattle 3-0 on Sunday. Kind of good news for Calgary. Minnesota will likely be without Jonas Brodin. He's hurt after taking a controversial hit from one Evander Kane. Friedman said the Wild are pissed there was no supplemental discipline. They didn't have Brodin yesterday against Seattle, but like the Kraken have also lost 8 straight. So do with that what you will. Saturday, you've got the Lightning to wrap up the road trip. They're still
Lightning at home. They finished the road trip, come home for the Lightning on Saturday night. That's still Stamkos. That's still Kucherov. That's still Calgary's Braden Point. That's still Vasilevsky.
Maybe Braden Point is like still in the shadow of Kucherov, who's still leading the league in points right now. But like he's second in scoring on the Lightning. He's on pace for almost 35 goals and just shy of 90 points. And that's a dip for him.
They're good. They're very good. And the team that follows them in is the Florida Panthers. If only there were a few former Flames there and you could... Oh, there is. Yeah. No, there's absolutely a few former Flames there. It's a tough run of games. We called it the gauntlet run. I think Jack's got it right there. There it is.
Leave it up.
So it's Dallas, Colorado, Vegas, Dallas, Vancouver, Minnesota, Carolina, New Jersey, Colorado, Vegas, Minnesota, Tampa, Florida. That is an incredible run. They also then go Anaheim, LA. If you want to tack 2 more on and make it 15, not 13, LA's been phenomenal. Anaheim's come back to earth. Anaheim's the first team they'll play that I don't think will make the playoffs out of this group.
What was this about a
13
a
in a
bet
row.
you made with a tattoo on the line or something like
Wasn't
that?
a tattoo. I said, look, I'll say the Flames can make the playoffs if they can go 500 in this stretch, because I just don't see it. It would be a really impressive achievement if you could go 500 over the stretch. And it's not like they played poorly. There are other universes where you get 2 points tonight. They did enough right to win. It was just the caliber of opponent was going to be the problem. And that's what you see tonight.
The thing that is good, Jack, if you could bring that graphic back for just a second there, I want to count how many of those were not 1-goal games.
Yeah. How many were not close? Okay. So Dallas, that was a weird one.
Did the Avs have an empty netter in that one? I forget.
Well, the
3-1.
That's a good question.
Actually, I think I had it up here somewhere.
We can dive into that another moment. But yeah,
It
they're
was
playing
not.
tight hockey games. I will give you that. But it's just,
It was not an empty netter.
if you watch this 13 game stretch and they end up being a few games under 500, it doesn't mean they played bad. It doesn't mean like fire the coach. It doesn't mean trade that guy. It doesn't mean like, this group's a bunch of bums. They're up against opponents that are better than them for 13 games in a row.
And I mean, if you like these
Tip your
coaches
cap
and
if
you
you
think
can
these
hang.
are the guys who are going to help you set up these young players like Zarian, Coronado, and Wolf for long-term success, get used to them now. They're not there to cater to the older guys if the retool is what you're going for.
Yeah, we kept saying it on the show. By the time we get to Christmas, it probably won't be much of a mystery of what the Flames should be doing at the trade deadline. You'll probably have lots of ample viewings over a third of the season and a run against the types of teams you'll see in the playoffs.
Merry Chrysler, indeed. Merry Christmas.
So that's your road ahead for Village Honda. We mentioned the pre-owned inventory. How about the new stuff? New everyday arrivals in stock.
In this economy?
That's right. MSRP, manufacturer's suggested retail price. That's what they've got going on at Village Honda. Check them out, villagehonda.com and in the Northwest Ottawa. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Your comments and questions as we close Afterburner. A weird one. A lot went right for the Calgary Flames, but then they blew a 2-goal lead, allowed 3 in the third, and fall 6-5 to an absolute cup contender in the Avalanche. We're missing 3 very good players, by the way. I don't know if they missed them per se, but could get better than in this, which would be impressive. We're back in a moment.
Greta, it's our home away from home for Afterburner. We'll be there for live watch parties throughout the season. Should be your spot regardless. Before, during, and after the game, grab a cocktail, something from the menu, let the games begin, or maybe you get into the game yourself. Over 50 arcade games from vintage to state-of-the-art. Load up some credits on that Greta game card of yours and get at it. Greta Calgary, located at 213 10th Avenue Southwest. Check them out online, gretabar.com.
Derek Newman of Newman Deems Real Estate Group with CIR Realty are proud sponsors of Afterburner. Born and raised in Calgary, Derek not only loves talking sports, golfing, but he's an avid sports fan. He's happy to talk sports or real estate with you. Complimentary in-house staging consultations, finding homes not on the market. If you're buying for the first time or a seasoned seller of homes, chat with Derek and he'll help you achieve your goals. If you're interested in buying or selling in the greater Calgary area, call Derek or text him at 403-619-6661 and let Derek put his network to work for you. That's Derek Newman for Newman Deans Real Estate Group with CIR Realty. One of the first things I do every Monday is head over to dailyfaceoff.com and I click on the Wendy's Fantasy Survivor Pool. Here's all it is. You got to pick some overs or unders, whether it's a point, a goal, hits, a team shot total, a win. You survive on Monday, you live to see another day, and you can earn major points towards Wendy's in the process. Wendy's is letting you win real food with your fantasy teams this year with the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. For those of you who dream of smoking the competition, Wendy's is rewarding you with weekly prizes that'll have you winning despite your lack of winning combinations. But here's the big secret to lineups. It's all serendipitous. Like Wendy's new limited edition chicken strips and French toast sticks. Sometimes the best teammates are the ones you'd least suspect.
Sign up to play Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool to win weekly prizes like new chicken strips and French toast sticks from Wendy's and the Wendy's app.
Welcome back to Afterburner. We here in the Myrtle Loop Studios witnessed a 6-5 loss to the Colorado Avalanche. A lot of good things happened. 5 different goal scorers, 10 players on the score sheet. But a incredibly good Avalanche team flexed their muscles in the third. First, it was Ross Colton from Manson and Byram. Then Mikko Rantanen from Makar and Byram. That was all Makar. Lovely play. And then Nathan MacKinnon sprung on a breakaway from Nichushkin and Rantanen. The big line took over this contest late in the third, and the Avs win 6-5. That's a good team. I believe that was my preseason pick to win the cup when we had the Flames Nation article on our preseason predictions.
I mean, my play in fantasy hockey is just always to take whoever is playing goal for the Avalanche. They won't even be the greatest goalie in the world, but you're going to get wins.
Can you remember the goalie that won the cup with the Avs? Many won't. Darcy Kemper? Okay, sure. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
remember how many shutouts Philip Grubauer got the year before that too? Ooh.
Grubauer was gone. I mean, they seem to not really care that much about the goalie. They'll get some guys and we'll be so good that it won't matter. And tonight, Georgiev gets chased after 5. Prosvotov.
Keep going. It's just getting better. You're getting closer. Prosvetov, I think.
That guy came in and made a couple big saves, and they won. And it's of course they found a guy on waivers that was that good. Of course they did. They're the Avs. They're the stinking Avs. Of course they bet on Nichushkin on a 0-goal season, and he's turned into a star. Of course, they had overplayed their hand with Matt Duchene and couldn't win the trade, but instead won the trade in the landslide. Of course, they could get Devin Taves for 2 seconds when the Flames gave up a first and 2 seconds for Travis Hamonic.
Do you remember the year that they totally bottomed out?
Yep.
To get those picks.
The McKinnon pick.
Yeah, the McKinnon pick. What happened to their attendance that year? Was it awful?
It wouldn't have been great, but probably not brutal. I mean, I don't know. It seems to be a good draw there.
Mm.
I don't recall it being a long, horrible run so much as a year where everything went wrong. So they probably had the nice, healthy season ticket base, shit hit the fan. And if it is,
I don't think it was anything like Chicago was before Cam.
No. Chicago was awful. It was like 5,000 people in a 21,000 seat rink. Yeah. That's no good at all. Comments and questions. We'll get to those. So let's do that with our boy Jack. Jack, what have you got in the comments and questions section? If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or where else can we do this? I believe the X, you can add questions as you watch. Hey guys, any hope left? Oh, there's lots of hope. Well, I mean, what are you hoping for? You could hope to just play your ass off and barely squeak into the playoffs. You could hope that it's a clear signal sent to management that you need to sell expiring assets and get as many young kids and picks as you want. You could hope that you could end up with a pick in the top 5 in this year's draft. I mean, there's hope for lots of things. I think the hope for this group being cup contender, it's been a long time. You watch those first 10 games, not this group.
I mean, there is always, you can never really get rid of hope. St. Louis probably ruined a lot of teams going forward, from worst to first.
Early Jan, they go from 30th at that point.
It was after Christmas.
It was in Jan. They call up Jordan Binnington and end up winning a cup. The Buffalo Sabres, in their Ryan O'Reilly deal, were looking at we might win the draft lottery with that draft pick. It could be first overall. And then, nope, they won the cup. That's pick 30. Ouch. They didn't get Tage Thompson, though. So.
Or Buffalo.
Yeah. Other questions. Is Kadri playing himself into a trade? I'll say this. If he wants to play like that, that's a player other teams can use.
And the whole idea when he came here, he still wants to win. He wants to win again.
Well, and look, when he came here, this was a group that looked like it was going to win. Not on the ice, but on paper. It's like, oh my God. They added Uyghur, a first rounder, and Huberdeau for Kachuk, and you went and got Nazem Kadri. You just won a cup. Look at all these talented players. I don't know that into a trade. I don't think it's that easy. We don't see guys with that much term move, almost ever. He's also already, I believe, 34 with 6 years left. 33. He's
33.
He's an October birthday, so he already turned 33 this fall. Is that correct?
Oh my gosh. 1990 means you're 33 now.
So I'm concerned. If I'm another GM, I'm like, okay, you can help me now. What's it look like in 3 years and 4 years and 5 years after this season? Because that's what's left on that deal. But the player's good enough right now to help a contender, and that means you can have the conversations if necessary. I don't think it's front burner, but if he does have a great year and it's clear that you need to get younger, eat a couple $1 million and move a $5 million number 2 center. Maybe the back end of that deal is not great for whoever gets him, but if you're in a window to win now, that might be a move that gets made. I didn't think it was possible after last season. He was so bad down the stretch, but give him credit. He was excellent. It's been excellent for over a month now.
You keep him around, and every time you call up a kid, put him with Kadri.
It seems to be the thing. I just put everyone with Zeri. How many lines can Zeri be on? What would a team pay for Dubé? Like a 6th round pick at this point? I think there's an established track record that's significant enough that it wouldn't be a 6th. I also think that this whole 2018 thing is just frozen the trade market for any of those names that were on that team that were CHL players, because we don't have clarity on, like, imagine trading assets for someone and then, oh yeah, by the way, suspended. Like, GMs will want clarity, but if he's absolved from wrongdoing, that report comes out, then okay, well, he scored 18 goals 2 years in a row. Is he so old, or the league is so different that he couldn't score 18 again? Of course not. Is he having a bad year? Yeah, he is. He's a buy low candidate for teams, but I would think that would be a 2nd or 3rd rounder if someone really likes the skill set. It's not like you're talking about a 34-year-old that doesn't have it anymore. It's a guy that's clearly been frustrated and lacking confidence.
But as you mentioned, frozen for the time being. We don't know when anything could be revealed to the public. Well, we know that Hockey Canada at least has wrapped its investigation because players appealed the findings, which, put 2 and 2 together, means Hockey Canada found some wrongdoing. Again, we don't know if Dubé is one of those players or not, but everyone is under that umbrella right now because also none of them can play for Team Canada.
Correct. And so it's not a, ooh, look out, Dylan definitely was involved in something here. No, it's just he was one of probably 12 to 15 hockey players that were at an event where there's an assault was alleged to have happened. And so until those players who were there are cleared, I just don't think it's a move that GMs want to make. And, you know, I've meeting Dylan Dubé the very few times I have. I think he's a wonderful guy, but who's to say? I mean, I don't know what he did in 2018 or 2019, whenever the event occurred. It was a golf tournament in London. It would be great if his name was cleared. I don't know if that's something hanging over him. It certainly looks like a guy that's something he's fighting a lot. Like it's just nothing's working for him. But if he had his name cleared and wanted a change of scenery, like I think he's a guy a lot of teams would like. He's the best skater on this team. Like if you look at
the potential's still there. The potential hasn't gone away.
Geez, guys have down years. Like you just watch Valerie Nichushkin tonight. He had 2 seasons with 0 goals. Like this guy had 18 last year and 18 the year before. Like of course he's an NHL player. Should Huberdeau watch some games in the press box? I mean, if Ryan Huska thinks he can put out a collection of 12 players that have a better chance at winning than Huberdeau, then yes, he should. That's where I'm at. I'm done with the hold the hand, play his favorite song, call his old teammates. Like it's just, you've tried everything. It's time for the player to perform. And if you have better options for 4 lines and he's not on any of them, it's time. That's a Huska decision.
I think the optics of that would be so bad.
I agree, but what are the optics? What are the opposite optics?
How many? We wouldn't even be able to watch the game because all the Sportsnet shots would just be of him in the press box. That would be every cutaway.
So let's spin it the other way. What if he wasn't one of their best 12 forwards and he was out there? What are the optics on that? Like you just can't win. Like there isn't here's the move. They all suck because it's a guy that doesn't want to be playing like shit, but he's playing like shit, and it's been 100 games. And you've committed your largest financial commitment in the history of your franchise to him. It sucks. I don't think he's a bad guy. He just looks like a bad hockey player right now. More questions and comments. Other than the UFA trades, who do you think will be likely surprise trades? Dubé, if his name's cleared with the investigation and is eligible to be moved without GMs wondering about what's going to happen, I think he'd be a nice add for teams. I think you will get some calls on Jacob Markstrom. If you're a contender coming down the stretch and you're not quite happy with your goaltending, I think of a team like Carolina, New Jersey. Not as like they're the teams that would love Markstrom, but I look at teams that, yeah, if their goaltending was better, they'd probably both be right up at the top of the division with the Rangers. So that would be another one.
It would be like the hottest ticket for a rental.
Well, I mean, if Tanev's healthy, every team loves to add that type of player. If Lindholm isn't extended and traded and he's just a rental, that's a phenomenal player that anyone can add into their top two lines. Elias Lindholm can play right wing, he can play center, he can kill penalties, he can be in a checking line, he can score when he's playing with scorers. He's an incredible player. He just isn't a star. I think that's what we've learned this year. He's an excellent support piece, like a really, really, really good third or fourth best forward on a team.
And it looks like from the Flames, there will be no update on Chris Tanev's injury tonight, but we might hear, there'll
be an update tomorrow. There's a game tomorrow. He'll either dress or he won't. I'm not expecting him to dress. And then Hannafin's a valuable piece as well. The 3 UFAs are very valuable. So are they extended? Do they go on their current deals? That's, I guess, what determines whether they're a rental or not. Other questions. Does Klappa get a call up anytime soon? I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him at some point. There just seems to be a lot of forwards right now, right? Like they didn't have room for Coronado tonight.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Walker Duer much. Like they're missing options on the fourth line. They've got lots of guys around at the forward position. If Klapka played defense, he'd be getting a call tonight, I think, Cami. Like they don't need forwards right now.
No, and like fair to him, he's having a pretty serviceable season in the AHL. Like the Wranglers are still like the second best team in the league. He's got 9 goals, 9 assists.
He's an interesting guy. I'd like to see at the NHL level. It's not time. And how did Coronado, a much higher profile, younger, first round, fill the net, like very, very elite shooting talent? How did he get into the lineup? Someone was injured, right? Like
and hopefully
Pospisil blocks a shot and he comes in, and then the next game he's out and it's like, yeah, he hit the crossbar in the post. Like he nearly scored what could have been a huge goal in that game. So this will all happen, but it's going to take some time. Like I think after the deadline, you're going to see a lot of Wranglers make their NHL debuts potentially. I want to tell you about Charm Diamond Centers. They are proudly Canadian and owned and operated since 1972 with more than 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. They do custom ring building, and they deliver it in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece program and an unbeatable pricing policy. Holidays are coming up. Perfect time to check out a large selection of lab-grown and mined diamonds. You don't need to pay until 2025 with their instant in-store financing OAC. Charm Diamond Center is giving you a chance to win $5,000, a $5,000 gift card. Amazing. Become a Charmpion with the Propose. How would you propose? 1 knee, the bend and snap. Cami, I've only proposed once. It was the bend and snap. 1 knee. There you go.
You don't know what a bend and snap is.
Tag at Charm Diamonds on Instagram in a poster story with the video or photo of your propose, and be sure to hashtag the propose to be entered. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. It's go time.
All right, gang, listen up. It's time to learn the propose. Coach?
Bend and snap.
Beautiful form. Nice arm extension. Facial expression. I could use some work. All right, let's see it. The propose. What's that guy doing?
I think that's the bend and snap.
That's a whole different deal. Charm, home of the propose. Oh!
Welcome back on Afterburner. We'll wrap it up with a few more questions and comments. You saw one you wanted to tackle.
Oh, I just feel bad for it. Was in 04. So this one's for you. I think you tried like 3. There we go.
Why can't we send Dubé to the Wranglers, put Coronado on a line, with Popsicle on the fourth line. Okay, I see what you're saying. A little nickname there. You don't want to lose Dylan Dubé for nothing. You would risk
suck.
that as he requires waivers to go down. And no, he's not playing great. And yes, he makes $2.3 million, but yes, he also has 36 goals the last 2 seasons combined. So you don't risk losing assets. Like if Dylan Dubé bounces back next year and scores 25,
you look like a fool.
What the hell would you be thinking if you lost him on waivers for nothing? Nothing. That's why. He's not a kid. He can't go up and down freely. Coronado can. He's on his entry level.
And he's not 100% ready. Like, he's not going to be taking on every single game. Coronado, I mean.
Sorry, yeah, they're talking about Dubé. He's ready to be an NHLer.
No, he is an NHLer. Coronado, no. Like,
Coronado.
He was serviceable for sure in the New Jersey game. But, like, there's a couple things and maybe benefit from getting, like, the pospisil treatment sometimes. And
he's a good young player. He's got a lot to learn.
Get back in there. Yeah.
It's a quantum leap from college hockey to the NHL. We keep saying it. There's a Coronado question every post-game show we do, Cami. What does GM Conroy plan to do to fix the blue line? Defense have been, after all, from 2 weekends ago, so bad the Flames lost all but one of those games they played. David, which game have they been favored in the last 2 weeks that you're referencing here? Like, I'm sorry. All the teams they're playing are better than them, higher in the standings, and had better cup odds than them at the beginning of the year. The Flames haven't been like shooting themselves in the foot and like, well, you just airmailed another 2 points to the other side. I mean, I thought they were pretty bad against Minnesota, but otherwise they played these good teams pretty tough. And it's
their defense are fine. Like, the defenders are finding ways to score, which is good, but they're also being forced to make a lot of plays because the offense hasn't been great. And you see so many of those little hiccups that, like, the more you're playing, the more margin for error there's going to be.
I don't think the defense has been bad. I think it's been a lot better than their first 10 games of the year. I like their top 4 with a healthy Chris Tanev. That's obviously a thing. How do they fix the D? I mean, the real question for me is, what do you do if you trade Hanifin and Tanev's hurt or are traded? You have 2 players under contract next year for the Flames on defense. That's it. It's Uyghur Anderson. It's your top pair. It's 2 good defensemen. But the GM does need to go find other players. I see Ethan Bear's name is out there. I see Tyson Barry's name's out there. Those are the types of guys you would love to backfill with if you made Hanifin and Tanev trades, or Tanev is hurt and can't be traded. Like, those are the types of assets you want to bring back. Guys that you can sign on 1-year deals, where if they play well, you can fire them out at the deadline a year later, or, depending on the time frame, potentially even this year. You certainly, I think, would want to get pen to paper with Dennis Gilbert, who I think looks like a third pair defenseman. Solovyov is going to be a guy that's around. He's going to be easy to sign given he's coming out of entry level and that he doesn't require waivers. Oliver Shillington's a massive wild card. He would be immensely helpful, but he's battling bigger things than a sport people play as children that a very, very small percentage of the earth can play for a living. So, yeah, if you're looking big picture about what Craig Conroy has to do, he probably has a goalie, whether that's Wolf or Markstrom or something else. He's got very serviceable depth at the forward ranks, but he doesn't have a franchise centerman. He doesn't have an elite goal scorer, and he doesn't have more than 2 top 4 defensemen if you're going to move Tanev and Hanifin. That is a big project for the next 12 months.
Well put.
Maybe they re-sign Hanifin. I don't know that he's keen on, they're playing hard. They're playing for each other. They're not quitting. They're coming back in games. This one's a tough one, but it's just like, if you're honest with yourself, this team played really well tonight and they had players make great plays. And there wasn't a lot of guys that left a lot out there. Boy, if that guy was just better, they would have won. They were just outclassed. They ran into a team that has 5 or 6 players better than their best player. Let that sink in. They ran into a team that probably has 5 or 6 players that's better than their best player. Like Makar, Hall of Fame is going to happen. McKinnon, Hall of Fame is going to happen. Rantanen, yeah, you probably make a strong case like him. Their captain's been hurt for 2 years. Gabe Landeskog might be one of the best players of the Flames if he was healthy. Nichushkin flirted with 40 last year and put up like Selke caliber numbers on the wing. We haven't even talked about like Bowen Byram, Devin Taves. Like, Devontae's like, well, there's.
Yeah, no, they've got 4 guys with more goals than the Flames.
Like I didn't have a problem with the Flames game tonight. That was just a better team. Like you can be a great, you can play to your potential and lose. And I didn't think the Flames were far from that tonight. I did not see these glaring, what do you do? Like, no, it's tip your cap. The other guys drive nice cars too. And in this team, for example, they drive even nicer cars than you have. That's the old baseball analogy. It's like, you swing and you miss. The pitcher drives a nice car too, right?
Well, I guess I know sandpaper and you know cars.
Baseball analogies is what I know. Don't know cars. Yeah. I know I go to Village Honda though. That's the one thing I do know for sure. Any other questions, Jack, that are cropping in?
No, that's it.
Your ignorance has been exposed. Yeah, people in the comments, they love fighting, don't they?
Yeah, also, this is not an Oilers hat. This is a Whitewater hat. It's one of the best ski hills in Canada.
I was going to say, is that Nelson Whitewater?
It is.
Oh, you Nelsonite, huh?
Coots Roots. Bowen Byram, part of Cranbrook.
There you go.
Dryden Hunt, also kind of Cranbrook, but also kind of Kimberley, but also kind of Nelson.
Also kind of Calgary. He's been here for a while too. That will do it, my friends. We will see you tomorrow for Barn Burner. What have we got? Oh, another game day. They'll be playing a team that did win the Stanley Cup last year, not one that we thought might last year and did 2 years ago and might this year. It's the team that did win last year and might win this year too. Trouble. Before we go, I do want to tell you, this program is sponsored by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/FlamesNation and get on your way to being your best self. It's not easy for guys always to talk about therapy, mental health issues, but I feel like as a society and as men, we're doing a better job to trying to, I guess, end the stigma around therapy and mental health. And I think that's an excellent direction for us as men to be moving in and is a topic for people to be comfortable talking about in society. That doesn't mean that it's easy. Asking for help can be intimidating, it can feel private, but we know therapy is very good and it actually can help us deal with some issues that we have or give us solutions and plans of action when we see potential issues cropping up. The holidays are here. I know you're always thinking about gifts you need for other people, but the one person you don't want to forget is yourself. Don't miss an opportunity to get yourself on the track to being your best self. And giving online therapy can be a great thing to get you there. What is online therapy? What is BetterHelp? Well, it's great because it's online, which means you're not stuck in traffic driving somewhere. You can chat with a therapist from the comfort of where you want to be when you're talking with the therapist, not someone's office necessarily. It also means it's super flexible to work around your schedule. And they're going to have you fill out a questionnaire and pair you with a therapist that obviously has expertise with issues you're dealing with or has great solutions and coping skills for the challenges you're facing. Pretty cool. If it doesn't work, I don't really like this cat. Okay, we'll get you another one. Not a physical cat, but like this person. Anyway.
And for the record, therapy, opposite of a nick.
Okay.
Big time green flag.
Very good. Okay. So Cami's saying this is an attractive thing. If men can take care of
everybody,
take care of issues, but be open to talking about therapy and talking about the challenges.
No, listen, everyone deserves to be happy. Everyone deserves to be their best self. And sometimes your brain fights you and everyone should go to therapy. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/FlamesNation today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/FlamesNation. A lot of things went right for the Calgary Flames tonight, but they don't have Colorado's roster. They'll have to do a lot of things right again tomorrow and somehow even be better against the defending Stanley Cup champions in Vegas. Barn Burner tomorrow. Afterburner will follow. It'll be Ryan Pike and myself. And Thursday, we will be at the Grey Eagle as the return of Boomer to Afterburner is set for the stage with a
bar.
nice tan.
Oh, maybe? I would think a very, very red burn. He said it was the lighting, but I mean, who's carrying a red light? Like he was burnt. He was totally
not like the
burnt.
pink lights we got in here.
Pink, it's the Afterburner vibes, right? If we zoomed out, you could see the logo. It's kind of got this neon light thing going with the purple. It's good stuff. And a reminder, this was not a home game. If you are at home games, there's nothing quite like Greta pre and post game. We heard the ad from Dino, but if you're in that, you got the jersey on, you're going to the game. What do we do before? Head to Greta. Great food. Also, the games. Also, playing the game. Not just
What's
games
your favorite
on TV.
game though? What's your favorite game though?
Okay, I have a few. So you can go all the way back to they have old school Pong.
They have Pong.
And then they also have one of my all-time favorites, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, which is incredible. And people are still uncovering hacks because you have to enter your initials and birth date for scoring. And if you write in the right ones, you unlock characters. It's wild. And then the newer stuff's amazing as well. I love the 4 to 6 Mario Karts wide for full chaos. They've got the Pop-A-Shot, the basketball games that are phenomenal, and a lot of newer ones that I'm not quite as up to speed on. Golden Tees in the basement as well, air hockey. It's pretty nonstop at Greta. So if you're looking for something pre or post Flames, or it's just, hey, let's go for a night out with pals, festive season, don't sleep on Greta.
So your favorite is all of them?
I really didn't pick a favorite.
No, you didn't.
That would be like asking me, what's my favorite social setting? All of them.
Yes.
It's that too. It's wonderful. We'll see you later. Thanks for being here. See you, buddies.